primary importance should be given to the two witnesses. Clear? Next, constantly cultivate only a joyful mind. See?
By demand.
So, you need to make a promise this time. The promise is, whatever may come in my life, I will never make my mind unhappy. That's what he's saying here. Constantly cultivate only a joyful mind. There's a Tibetan saying that if you look at the face of people who are crying, you feel like crying. If you look at the face of the people who are laughing, you feel like laughing, you see. So if you see good things, appreciate good opportunities, everything is relative. You will be happy. If you see all the bad things, negative things, highlight the bad things, negative things, you will be miserable. You will suffer, you see. So cultivate only a joyful mind all the time. That means, because since you have, he is not saying this without any reason, he is saying with reason, that since now you have trained your mind properly, if you are somebody who has really trained your mind properly, then whatever misfortunes befall in your life, in the future, you know how to take them on the path of the practice. So you are confident. Now nobody can bother me. Of course I will be happy when things are okay. Now in addition to that, I also know how to handle the misfortunes, bad circumstances. I know how to take them on the path. So what is left now that could bother me? Nothing is left to create me unhappy. So whatever happens. So that's why in the beginning I was saying that much is dependent upon your mental attitude. Like for example, this particular gathering, look at this particular gathering. You have been sitting here like anybody. Yet how many hours you are sitting here in a day, including your meditation, 10 hours? Something like that. Did anybody force you to come here and sit like this? No. You came through your choice. So because you came out of your choice, somebody said, forced by somebody who?
The wife.
Okay. Nobody can force you, I told you earlier. So see, you are sitting here 10 hours, whatever, Because you are sitting here out of your choice, you are still smiling, you are happy, you see. Imagine if you are sitting here for 10 hours is because somebody had forced you to sit here at gunpoint or something, Wow. You will be already suffering so much. The sitting may be same, the duration may be same, where you sit may be same, But when your mind is not ready, you suffer. When your mind is ready, you remember some of those days when you had picnic. Okay, right in the beginning you have this motivation, let us go and have picnic and play. Then unfortunately the weather changes, there's a storm and hail, but still you will sing. Still you will try to sing and be happy. Because your mind is ready. That's the thing. When your mind is not ready, you may be surrounded by best of the friends, sleeping in the best of the hotel, 5-star hotel, whatever, 7-star hotel also they talk about it. I've never tasted 7-star hotel. So you may have best of the facilities at your disposal, but when you're unhappy, you cannot enjoy any of these things. You cannot enjoy the bright sunlight. You cannot enjoy the smiles of other people. You see? Even if you're sleeping on a very soft bed, you cannot get sleep. You keep on changing your sides, thinking about it. Because your mind is disturbed. When your mind is not disturbed, you may be living a poor life, not good facilities. In India we say ruka sukha. Ruka sukha means even if you have like some small dry pieces of bread and water to drink, still you're happy, So much is dependent upon the mind. So you should have this confidence that whatever comes in your way, including the misfortunes, you will see the positive side of it. Use it for your personal transformation and practices. Another measure of having trained the mind is, the measure of a trained mind is that it has turned back. Which basically means the measure of trained mind is that if you are able to do it even on those days when you are distracted, then that's a measure you are good in your mind training practice. Just like riding on a wild horse. When you are not trained in riding the horse, when you get little bit distracted, the horse will throw you. And I know this because when I was younger, I practiced bicycle, riding on a cycle. When I get a little bit distracted, I fall. Later on when you get, I'm not good, but I can just survive, I can do surviving by cycling and survival, swimming, nothing good, So anyway, so this, as and when you're not trained, as and when you get a little bit distracted, you fall. But when you're fully trained, and you are going this direction, but still talking to your friend like this. Whether you're driving a car or bicycle, and people are talking on the mobile phone, for me very scary, Sometimes I tempted to say, mind your business. So that's what he's saying. That is what he's saying. The measure of trained mind is if you are able to do that practice even when you are distracted. So that means even on those occasions when you are not analyzing and examining, and suddenly you confront a harm, you confront misfortune, unexpectedly you confront misfortune or harms or sufferings, when you are not mentally prepared, but still those unexpected harms, misfortunes do not provoke you to develop anger, that means your mind is trained. Just like not falling from the wild horse, even when you are distracted. So here also, on those other, casual days when you are not specifically focusing on something, then suddenly unexpected suffering, harms, misfortunes come. But still, if you are not reacting negatively and not getting angry, it means your mind is trained. And not only you will not get angry, but you will be able to transform those misfortunes as a support for your mind training practice. So that's the measure of having trained your mind. So you should undertake your mind practice to such an extent that you will reach such a level. It's not easy. But if you get used with it, I had given you the example of riding a bicycle or horse, So that shows it is possible. It is possible. Even in ordinary people, not those who may have not done any specific mind training practice, but because of their past life's habit, there are some people who may not call themselves any, follower of any religion, but they are such wonderful people. They hardly get angry. Have you seen such people?
No.
No? Oh, I've seen some people. Have you seen some people? On all different situations, they remain calm and they don't get angry. Yeah, there are people like that. Okay? There are people like that. Because they have trained their mind in the past life or whatever. And there are some people who just get angry with slight differences in attitude and act. They immediately get angry. So different people have different habits. Some are always smiling, very calm and quiet. Some are very active, running, So many different people have different habits, you see. And this is due to partly past life habit, partly because of your psychophysical makeup, you see. The root text is really different from what I'm using.
This is the text we got from Gila.
Yeah. It's my recommendation, unfortunately. Because I did not check. I thought it must be same with my Tibetan version, you see. Okay, we go to the sixth, the commitment of mind training. Always train in the three general points. Always train in the three general points. The three general points are: first, that your mind training should not contradict or violate your precepts. Because mind training is a very special practice. So therefore sometimes it happens, people who do this mind training practice, then they say, oh, I am a very special person, I do mind training practice, so I don't have to observe the other Buddhist precepts. You see? So that's why he's saying the first of the three general pledge is general pledge. First of the three pledge is that your mind training practice should not violate your other Buddhist precepts. Okay, clear? For example, if you are a monk, you have so many precepts. Or even if you are layman, it is possible you have taken a lot of precepts. But in the name of doing mind training practice, if you say, because I am doing this very special practice, mind training, I don't have to observe the other precepts. Okay, so if your mind training practice is contradicting the other precepts, then that's wrong. So that is the first of the three pledges. For example, if you say, I am somebody who is undergoing mind training practice, so I don't worry, I don't care much about the minor precepts. So you neglect them, you ignore them. Then that is wrong. So therefore, in terms of your mental attitude, you should observe all the vows and precepts, right from the Pratimoksha vows to the vows that you receive, in your tantric practice. The second pledge of the three general pledges is I don't know how to translate this one, but it's saying something like this. Your mind training practice should not contribute towards way of life where you I don't know how to translate this. Where you don't care about many other things. For example, or something like you engage in rough and tough. That means if you say, because I engage in mind training practice, so no evil force can harm me. So you go into the forest and cut not only trees but some trees where people believe some spirits live in that tree. And people are very careful about it, but you don't care about it.
It's like be arrogant?
Not exactly.
Careless?
Careless, something like careless, yeah. Careless also very...
Like acknowledge that there are other traditions where you live?
Next year when I come, I'll fun with the world. Anyway, you got the meaning, yeah? You lead a very... unruly probably, unruly, okay, unruly behavior, unruly behavior, unruly, unruly behavior. I think unruly behavior. As I had given you the example, when you say that I'm somebody who do mind training practice, so no evil force can harm me. Then you start polluting the water, not caring whether the spirits are there, don't care about cutting the tree, even when people say there is a spirit residing there. So you and then you live with lepers, Serving and helping lepers is good, but you need to protect yourself. But if you say, oh, I practice mind training, so it doesn't matter, just live with them, don't protect yourself. Of course, you will also suffer from leprosy, you see. So that kind of leading unruly life is not good. That means you should really lead a very disciplined life. Third pledge of the general practice, three general practices, that your mind training practice should not become partial, biased, lopsided, partial. For example, if you are able to practice patience when a human being harms you, but if you are unable to practice patience when a local deity or a spirit harms you, then that's partial. Because your mind training practice should be such that you are able to practice patience towards all harms, from human beings, non-human beings, and so forth. Or because you have done mind training practice, you are very respectful to those people on the higher circle. But you are very intolerant and bully to the people on the lower rung, or even bully them. Or you are very loving towards your relatives and friends, but very hateful to your enemies. So that is biased. So therefore, having undertaken this mind training practice, we should not have this kind of partial biased practice. I can't find this here again. Anyway, so I'll read this Tibetan because it is the commentary. So the next line says, change your attitude and remain as you are, or as you are, yeah. Change your attitude, remain as you are.
It's the 6th point here.
Hmm?
Can you read the 6th point in number 6?
Mm-hmm.
Transform your
Transform your attitude but maintain your natural
behavior.
behavior.
Yeah. Transform your attitude but maintain your natural behavior. So that means whether it is Buddhist practice or your mind training practice, because some people when they do Buddhist practice, they change your costume, cloth, and then when they do mind training practice, then they also behave that they are slightly different from other people. That's wrong. What you need to do is change your attitude, not your behavior. Of course, changing attitude leads to change behavior, but what it means don't act abnormally. Act normally. Don't make a show of your practice to other people, showing that you are slightly different from other people, you see. The most important thing is changing your attitude, not changing the clothes. Changing your attitude means earlier you had very strong self-cherishing attitude. Now you have replaced that with the practice of cherishing the well-being of others. But in terms of your verbal and physical behavior, you should still associate with other people as you have been doing regularly, so that they will understand that you are not insane. Of course you are not getting insane, but if you act strangely, especially in a different culture, different society, people may not be able to understand it. So they will think, oh, you're a little bit insane. So, like in a society where they don't bow down to the images, people feel uncomfortable. You know why they are doing this, you see. So you need to show that you are normal. It happens in almost every society, you see. Like for example, even in India, which is traditionally very rich in all kinds of spiritual practices. But in terms of the family need, if one of their sons or daughters want to become a monk and nun, you know, it's quite difficult. I mean, it's possible, yes, many cases, but normally parents, what they want, get their son married, get their daughter married. That's the most important thing the family can do. And then get a good job. Then they will be very proud. My son is an engineer. You know? My daughter is an army general, whatever, you know. But if they say, my son is a monk, you know, which shows, which other people think poverty, you know, having no money, you know. And it is money that is counted today. So these kind of problems are there. These kind of problems are there. So therefore you need to do your practice mentally, but you need to behave normally. Then nothing abnormal is happening. And once you are able to physically and verbally express that normality, then people will accept you as before. Then there is much better chance for you to also explain what you are doing, how much it is benefiting, you see. So that's very important. There's a Tibetan saying which says that even if your thought or view is so high like a god, but your behavior should conform to the ordinary people. Okay? It's very important. In other words, when you do all these mind training practices, you should do it quietly, because it is not for declaration or propaganda. Okay? And if you do it quietly, there will be less obstruction and hindrances also. So without being noticed by other people, you should be able to transform and change your mind and become a good person. And if you do the practice, then people will appreciate it. People will be surprised. How this person who used to be so angry now is a completely different person. What did you do? Did you take some smart medicine, smart pill or something like that? Then you will say, no smart pill. But I did this practice. Then people will say, oh, can you share that to me? It's so good, you are a completely different person. See. But if you don't practice, behave abnormally, and say strange things about which you have not much idea, then it will just drive other people away, you see. So, that's not good. Then, next is, don't speak of others' faults. We do see faults of other people, like somebody is blind, then, hey, you blind, can't see, things like that. It's very bad. If that person is not blind, of course he will get very offended. If that person is already blind, then it's like trampling the fallen. You see, one who is already blind, but still you are reminding his shortcoming, so that will make him very, very sad. So that is the meaning. Don't speak of others' faults. If you want to speak faults, then highlight your fault, recognize your fault. It's not your business to highlight the faults of others. Your responsibility is to highlight your fault, understand your fault, and minimize it. That's your main task. That's main duty. Or if somebody is like a monk or a nun, but morally corrupted, then again it's not your responsibility to say this monk is not so good, morally corrupted, We are very fond of highlighting the faults of others, but not of oneself. In Tibet, there is a Tibetan saying which says that we are mostly like butter lamp. When you burn the butter lamp, with the light you are able to remove the darkness all around, which is outside of you. But beneath the bottom of that butter lamp, it is always dark. When you place it like this, it's always dark. So we are like butter lamp. We are very good in highlighting the faults of others, but not of oneself. Okay? Don't concern yourself with others' business. So this is quite similar than the preceding one. That again is basically saying that when you see some faults in sentient beings in general, and especially in those people who have started practicing some dharma, then you should think it may be not a fault, but it is what I am seeing. So in this way you should stop highlighting the faults of others.